Hello everyone, welcome back to Major Hi-Fi. I'm Luke. Today we're going to be talking about HifiMan's DEVA Pro. So HifiMan has been upgrading a few different models recently. We had the Aria Stealth, which I will link to my review of below, and now we have the DEVA Pro. This is of course a follow-up to the DEVA original. These run for $329, so they are $110 more than the original DEVA, and that is largely due to the implementation of the stealth magnets, which we also saw implemented into the Aria. So I definitely was a fan of the original DEVA. I'm a pretty big fan of most HifiMan headphones. I find that they have a pretty consistently good quality, but let's see if this Pro model for $100 extra is, worthy of upgrading to, or if it's just, worthy of making a new headphone for this purpose. Let's go on ahead and open the box and get into it. All right, so a few various things in here. First, we have the cable, which comes with the headphones. It's plenty long, and it is a 3.5 millimeter termination, along with these dual 3.5 millimeter connectors. I appreciate the sideways termination. I would like to see more of this personally, though I guess it's not ideal for like a mobile application, but for laptops and stuff, definitely great. We also get a classic just 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch adapter. And then we have this USB-C to USB cable, and this is for charging the Bluetooth dongle that is included. You can hook this up to your headphones. It has an 8-hour battery life and includes various codecs such as aptX and aptX HD. This is also included with the original DEVA and is definitely a great accessory to have. I like this option. Of course, some headphones have the Bluetooth built in, but there's not always room in just sort of a conventional build to fit a Bluetooth module of whatever type. And then here are the headphones themselves. These, of course, look basically just like the original DEVA, except for instead of this tan color, we've got a black leather material going on. This leather material also feels a bit softer and nicer than the older ones, though you won't notice that unless you're touching them, or if maybe you're bald and you actually can feel this on your head. For me, I don't feel anything through my hair, but yeah, it is definitely a nicer material to my fingers at least. But otherwise, it's almost an identical build. I didn't notice any obvious differences between the two. It's a little bit reminiscent to me of like the HE400 SE, which I will link to my review of that below too. It does feel very sturdy. It's not anything crazy looking, pretty large, as you can see, like this thing is, more than half the size of my hand over here. The ear cups are, and it's just overall a sturdy, but not particularly heavy on the style front headphone. It's not ugly or anything like that. It's just kind of generic, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I never have much to say about looks of headphones quite like this. I feel like they really are not trying to make much of a statement with the looks, and that's okay, but I don't have much of a statement about them in that case. Comfort-wise, these are definitely plenty comfortable. They, once again, are just like the original DEVA, so if you've ever used that, then you know what you're getting into. They do have not too tight of a grip really on the head. I wouldn't even mind a little bit more tightness going on, though I'd rather have less tightness than too much of it. But yeah, they're very comfortable. They're an easily disappearing headphone. They're not heavy. There's a little bit of weight going on. I can feel this on the top of my head. It doesn't feel overly heavy, like it's not something that's weighing me down, but they definitely do have a little bit more heft to them. Just like the original, the DEVA Pro are an open back planar magnetic headphone, and once again, they can be used as wired or Bluetooth. And the addition of the stealth magnets to the Pro version of the DEVA is meant to allow sound waves to pass through without generating interference and avoiding diffraction turbulence that can degrade the sound quality. The DEVA Pro has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz and an impedance of 18 ohms. So let's go on ahead and talk about how these sound. Hey guys, Luke here. Just wanted to pop in and say that if you're enjoying this video, it would be great if you could subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when we make new content, and hit the like button, and leave us a comment if you have any suggestions or questions or anything like that. I would love to talk to you guys more. We would really love some help growing the channel, and just want to make sure that we're reaching our audience and whatnot. So yeah, any support is greatly appreciated, and let's get back to the review. Okay, so soundstage-wise, the DEVA Pro definitely feels very similar to its predecessor. I'm not making this video totally just a comparison between the two, but of course I'm going to reference the other one. It's quite relevant. But I felt like there was definitely a difference in terms of the kind of shaping of the soundstage on the Pro version. I'm not comparing these to the Aria because they are vastly different prices. However, I will say the difference between the Aria and the Aria Stealth soundstage is similar to the difference between the soundstage on this and that of the original DEVA. It seems like these stealth magnets kind of have an effect on imaging style of the headphones they are implemented on. Like I said with the Aria Stealth, they seem like they reshape the soundstage and kind of reframe it. So on the original DEVA, I found that everything was just given width, whereas on the newer one, it's a bit more separated, whereas some elements are pushed far out and others are kept more to the center, which creates a bit more realism, but also perhaps less of a just width across the board and a more particular sort of divvying of things across the sonic field. I was going back and forth with if these were less wide than the original, because I was using the original one for a minute and then I went to these, and at first I was like, oh wait, they're not quite as wide. So I listened to these for a while, then I went back to the original, and then I was like, wait, no, the original is less wide, and then I just don't know what to believe anymore because I couldn't make up my mind. But if anything, that just tells you that the difference in width is not drastic. It's more so a difference in format. Either way, the DEVA Pro have a sense of depth and width that you can definitely feel and experience. It is definitely willing to let songs breathe and really flourish in the room that it creates. And it does offer a lot of realism in its soundstage as a whole. And for a $329 headphone, these are pretty darn hard to beat in the soundstage department. All right, so low end, let's talk about low end. The DEVA Pro, similar to the original, definitely aims for realism and kind of balance, meaning that the low end is not going to be super intense. It's going to be looking to create that natural feel. So it has a tighter handling on things, definitely a fair amount of control because it doesn't want things to just sort of run, off into the distance and create a crazy rumbling sound. It really does zero in on the low end and keep a pretty tight grip, definitely an even tighter, more controlled handling than on the original DEVA. That's another similar sort of thing I saw with the stealth magnet implementation on the Aria, was that things felt tighter on the low end and that the attack felt more focused and exact. There's definitely an increased attack and impact on the DEVA Pro, which I think is pretty essential if you're gonna have a bit more of a controlled kind of tightened low end. If you're not going to give us a ton of intensity in just the overall body of the low end, then it's nice to give us a bit more engagement in the shaping and kind of the detail of things down there. So these definitely do a good job of making sure that the low end is translated. The low end will still have a lot of character on these. It's just not going to be translated through an intense leveling, more so through an exact handling, like I said. When it comes to the mid-range and the DEVA Pro, I definitely heard some differences between this and the original one. It is a bit cleaner and more balanced on the Pro version. Both of them to me have a bit of bite on the mid-range, but the Pro version to me struck a bit more of a balance and kind of a sweet spot for where that bite should lie and how forward the high mid can kind of sit without it becoming a little bit harsh. I sometimes on the original DEVA would like a little bit of a pullback on the high mid area. On these ones, I never felt that way. I felt like they really knew where to stop and how to bring forward presence in the high mid without overdoing it and creating any sense of harshness. And I have very mid-sensitive ears, so that's important to me because I often just want the mid-range cut back because most headphones that push it forward don't seem to know where to stop, at least for my liking, and these did a good job of stopping at the right point. Even at higher volumes, the timbre of the mid-range in these stays really clean and very clear, and it's definitely not something that's super saturated or colored. Once again, it's going for that natural organic sound. So these are great for like female vocals, for anything you want increased like, attack on string instruments or snappy percussion. These do a great job of bringing that energy to the music. In terms of high end, this might have been the biggest improvement on the DEVA Pro compared to the original DEVA. The Pro has a brighter, much cleaner, softer touch to the highs, and this really brings things to life a bit more and adds a lot more purity and clarity to music, which makes it feel like a much more fine-tuned, detail-driven experience. It really is that super high area, as people have been calling it, that's boosted a bit more on the DEVA Pro. It's not just the high end as a whole, it's not a big shelf boost that's going on here, but it is those extra crisp frequencies that are given a few, I feel like kind of essential, much needed decibels. that really do add another level of presence to the music and another level of overall just realism. Once again, it really does make things feel very intimate, and bring out that ear candy that was still being brought out on the original Deva, but maybe needed a few extra pushes in the right direction to really complete the picture. So for me, these headphones are bright, but they're not super biased in this way that someone who doesn't like a bright headphone is going to hate these. But yeah, they do have a boost going on there. If you want darker, not the place to look. If you want extremely bright, probably also not the place to look, though they are overall on the stronger side with the treble, but to me they have a very crowd-pleasing high-end sound. So overall, I think the Deva Pro is a worthy upgrade. It definitely does feel like an improvement on multiple levels. Everything basically has either been adjusted or changed in some way on the tuning and the sound signature of these. And it's not like a drastic shift. It's not like these are completely reinventing the Deva, but they definitely are kind of perfecting and fine-tuning it in a way that I feel like makes them exciting and refreshing to listen to, even if you've already heard the original Deva. And for the price range, for $329, these are stiff competition, and they probably will be for a while. There are not that many headphones below $400 that sound like this. So if you're in this price range and you're looking for an open back planner, these should definitely be on your list in my opinion. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of these, if you've had a chance to listen to them, or what you thought of the original Deva. If you have any questions about how these compare that I didn't answer, or just how they stand on their own, let me know in the comments. I will link below to Major Hi-Fi's headphone ranking tool, where this will be alongside basically every other headphone, and I will also link to my colleague's review on these on our blog. I'll also link to where you can buy these, or a link to Amazon if you'd rather purchase them there. And yeah, I'll be back very soon with some more videos and reviews, and until next time, happy listening.